It all started on a quiet evening, the kind where the city lights shimmered against the darkening sky, painting every building with a golden hue, as if the world itself knew that tonight was going to be different. Dylan Wang and Shen Yue had been inseparable for months, their connection the envy of everyone who knew them, but lately, the air between them had grown heavier, thick with unspoken words and hidden emotions that neither dared voice until now. Shen Yue, usually so composed and radiant, seemed distant, her gaze lingering on things far beyond the bustling streets of the city, as though she were searching for answers somewhere Dylan could not reach. The tension had been building for weeks, subtle yet undeniable. On set, whispers circled around the cast and crew about the change in Shen Yue, about the moments she seemed lost in thought, moments where her smile, though still beautiful, no longer reached her eyes. And then came the day of the confrontation, a day that would change everything. Dylan Wang arrived at the studio earlier than usual, hoping to catch a glimpse of Shen Yue before rehearsals. He had prepared a heartfelt confession, a message meant to bridge the growing gap between them, yet when he saw her across the room, something was immediately off. Her posture was rigid, her expression unreadable, and her hands clutched a small notebook as if it contained the secrets of the universe. Shen Yue, he called softly, approaching her with a mixture of hope and apprehension. "Are you okay?" Her eyes flickered up to meet his, sharp and unyielding for the first time in months. "Dylan," she said, her voice steady but carrying an edge that sent chills down his spine. "I need space. I need to think, to understand what I want and who I am without this constant chaos around us." The words hit Dylan like a wave, crashing into every corner of his heart. He opened his mouth, trying to protest, to argue, to convince her that everything they had built together could withstand any storm, but she raised her hand, a silent barrier against his pleas. "It's Bai Lu," she continued, the admission spilling out like a confession that had been burning inside her for too long. "I can't keep pretending that everything is fine when she is always in the background, always a shadow over us. I need to step back, Dylan. I need to breathe without her presence, without her influence, without constantly wondering what she might be thinking or doing." Dylan felt the ground shift beneath him. He had known there were tensions, had sensed the subtle glances and whispered moments, but to hear Shen Yue say it aloud, to place the weight of their strain directly on Bai Lu, was more than he had expected. His mind raced through every memory, every moment that might have led to this point, yet he could not grasp the truth fully. "Shen Yue," he murmured, his voice breaking despite his best efforts to remain composed. "You know I care for you, more than anything. We can work through this, I promise you. Just tell me what I need to do." She shook her head, the notebook tightening in her grasp as if it were a shield against a storm of emotions raging inside her. "Dylan, it's not about what you do. It's about what I feel. And right now, I feel trapped, suffocated by this situation, by the constant comparisons, by the unspoken expectations. I need space to find clarity, to understand what I want for myself before I can be with anyone else, even you." The room fell silent, the hum of the studio lights the only sound in the heavy air. Dylan's heart thudded painfully in his chest as he struggled to comprehend the enormity of her words. He had always believed that love could conquer anything, that their connection was unbreakable, yet here was Shen Yue, stepping back, drawing a line he could not cross. As the days passed, the distance grew more pronounced. Dylan tried to respect her request, but every message left unanswered, every missed call, felt like a knife twisting in his heart. He watched from afar as Shen Yue navigated her days with quiet intensity, her presence both haunting and captivating. And then came the whispers, the rumors, the subtle signs that Bai Lu's influence was not as distant as Shen Yue claimed. Dylan felt torn between anger, confusion, and a desperate longing to reach her, to remind her that no matter the obstacles, his feelings remained unwavering. One evening, as Dylan returned to his apartment, he found a small envelope slipped under his door. The handwriting was unmistakable, elegant and precise, and his hands trembled as he opened it. Inside was a single note, a few lines that carried more weight than any conversation they had ever had. "I need time," it read, Not because I don't care, not because I want to leave, but because I need to find myself. I hope you can wait, not just for me, but for the truth that lies ahead. Please, trust that I will come back when I am ready. The message was a mixture of hope and heartbreak, a delicate balance that left Dylan reeling. He spent the night pacing, reliving every moment, every touch, every word that had led to this fracture. And in that solitude, he made a silent vow, a promise that no matter how long it took, no matter how many obstacles stood in the way, he would wait for Shen Yue, he would fight for her, and he would protect the love that had become the center of his existence. Meanwhile, Shen Yue faced her own battles, grappling with emotions she had long buried. Every glance at Dylan's messages, every echo of his voice in her mind, made the decision both harder and more necessary. She wandered through quiet parks at dawn, sat by windows watching the city awaken, and in those moments of solitude, she confronted the truths she had avoided. Bai Lu, with her effortless charm and unyielding presence, had been a mirror to Shen Yue's insecurities, a reminder of the fragility of their shared world. But in facing these feelings, Shen Yue also discovered a deeper strength, an understanding that clarity could only come from honesty with herself. The tension between them reached a crescendo one night when a chance encounter brought them face to face. Dylan had not expected to see her at the small cafe by the river, the same place where they had shared countless memories. Shen Yue was seated at a corner table, a book open before her, yet her eyes were distant, reflective. Dylan approached slowly, unsure if this was courage or folly, but the pull of their connection was undeniable. "Shen Yue," he said softly, his voice barely carrying over the ambient hum of the cafe, "I didn't expect to see you here." She looked up, a faint smile tugging at the corners of her lips, but it did not reach her eyes. "I come here when I need to think," she said, her tone calm but firm, "to remind myself of who I am outside of everything else." Dylan nodded, taking a seat across from her, the silence between them heavy but not oppressive. He studied her face, memorizing every detail, knowing that this moment was fragile, fleeting, yet profoundly significant. "I respect your need for space," he began, "but I also need you to know that my feelings haven't changed. If anything, they've grown stronger because I understand what you need, even if it hurts me to wait." Shen Yue's eyes softened, a glimmer of vulnerability breaking through the carefully constructed barrier she had maintained. "Dylan, this isn't easy," she whispered. "It never has been. But maybe this distance is what we need to truly see ourselves, to understand what we mean to each other without the shadows clouding our judgment." As the night deepened, the city lights reflecting in their eyes, they sat in a quiet understanding, a fragile truce forged from pain, love, and the unyielding hope that the future still held a place for them together. And while the path ahead remained uncertain, one thing was clear. The connection between Dylan Wang and Shen Yue was unbreakable, and the journey they were about to embark on, though filled with obstacles, heartbreak, and revelations, would change them forever. Fans across the world waited breathlessly, glued to every update, every leaked message, every subtle gesture, knowing that this story was far from over. Social media exploded with speculation, with millions debating the motives, the emotions, and the future of Dylan and Shen Yue. And in the midst of it all, one question lingered in every heart, one thought that would not fade. Will Shen Yue return to Dylan? And if so, how will they face the shadow of Bai Lu that has come between them? As the tension builds and hearts ache with anticipation, one thing is certain. This is a story of love, of courage, of the fragile human heart navigating the complexities of emotion and desire. The world watches, waiting for the next move, the next confession, the next revelation that will leave everyone stunned and breathless. And now, dear viewers, you must follow every update, watch every interaction, and witness the unfolding drama as it happens, because this story is far from over, and the truth behind Shen Yue's decision to ask Dylan for space will shock you, move you, and keep you on the edge of your seat until the very end. Do not miss a single moment of this journey, for every glance, every word, and every heartbeat counts. Subscribe, Turn on notifications and join millions of fans who are already captivated by the unfolding saga of Dylan Wang, Shen Yue, and the problem that has changed everything forever.